healthcare is one area where everyone needs the service at some point of time. I mean, you can't really run away from a healthcare service. It might be necessity for someone, but it's not for me. We scaled our services across Delhi and NCR, and then a few cities outside of Delhi as well, Jaipur, Chandigarh. You could call it like an Uber for healthcare services. We wanted to close that department. I think though that was one of the most difficult conversations that I've ever had. Closely, I've seen a lot of my relatives and family and even friends who have suffered because of the healthcare system that is there in India. A lot of my relatives and family and even friends who have suffered because of the healthcare system that is there in India for a long time. It is what 10 years now since, and I don't think the situation has changed a lot. So that was the thought process. I think it was a big white space to create good impact. It was still, and healthcare is one area where everyone needs the service at some point of time. I mean, you can't really run away from a healthcare service. I mean, I'm not active on Facebook. I might not be active ever again. I don't need it, right? I mean, it might be necessity for someone, but it's not for me. But healthcare, I might not need it today, but I would definitely at some point of time. So that was the thought process.
I think need versus want is a good way to choose what you want to do in your life. And I think you're right that healthcare is a need. So, what was your unique insight and what did you try to do in healthcare?
So I had seen someone in my family who had suffered a lot because of the healthcare system. She was my aunt. She wasn't doing that well. She was completely bedridden, and she was being taken care of at home. And that's what triggered that. I think caring for someone at home is very difficult in India, and that's where I thought home healthcare was is bound to be something big, which I thought was a big gap, which I found, and I wanted to explore that space, create an impact, and let's and see how it goes. So maybe use technology to change the way home healthcare services are delivered, and see how. So that was the thought process behind it, and I went behind it. I joined a couple of like-minded people to set up Pramati Healthcare. So this was our startup at that point of time. We raised some initial angel investments as well, and yeah, I think we were doing decently enough. We did some good work. We scaled our services across Delhi and NCR, and then a few cities outside of Delhi as well, Jaipur, Chandigarh. But we were not able to scale the business beyond the initial phase of growth. There were a lot of reasons behind it. We and then once us funding started to dry out, we were not able to secure additional funds as well. I think people, especially in India 10 years ago, were not receptive of the idea of a venture which would take years to give something in return. I mean, there were very few investors who would be patient enough to see an industry grow alongside a company, wait for 15, 20 years to see the returns. Maybe some, and there are investors who do this. I think I worked in a healthcare company after my stint with Pramati who had such investors, primarily family offices, who have that kind of thought process. They've seen their businesses grow over time. They know that the value of patience in investment, and definitely helps if you
So,
have
what
this
were you
kind of.
doing in Pramati Healthcare? You were hiring nurses or people who are like not nurses, not like qualified as nurses, but like know how to take
Yeah.
temperatures and do the like
So
home
we
healthcare needs.
so we had a system more, you could call it like an Uber for healthcare services, where you could book your service for any healthcare need, if it's be it one-off or a regular need. You want to take care of someone senior at your home or someone bedridden, or you need a nurse or an attendant, any other, maybe even a doctor visit at that point of time. So if you need that, you reach out to us, and we would help.
So, how many years did you spend with your startup?
Around 2 years, so together.
And one more thing which I want to cover, because this happens more often than not, is, see, I know these numbers as a VC, even the top VCs.
Hmm.
9 out of 10 ventures fail,
Yeah.
right? And these are VC founded ventures. जो non VC funded ventures तो भूल ही जाओ. Now, of course, and as a founder, the attitude has to be of not fearing failure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't be a founder. You
Yeah.
can't be a
I agree.
founder, and you
Mhm.
can't even be a VC if you have, if you are fearing failure. However, even if you don't fear failure, when things go turtle, when you are about to close shop, there is sentiments, there is emotion, there is a lot of thing. Tell us a bit about what you went through in those last few months and how you decided that.
I think it was a very difficult phase, I would say. I mean, I would still a bit young than what I am today, still a bit immature, and yeah, it was definitely difficult to talk to the people that were working with me in our team. To let them go, to tell them. I mean, we had a physiotherapy department where we would send physiotherapists to people's home, and we wanted to close that department. I think though that was one of the most difficult conversations that I've ever had with the whole physiotherapy team, to tell them that for reasons beyond what they were not really. Uh,
How many people were in that team, Mayur?
I think we indirectly had around 20 physiotherapists who were working with us. I still remember that conversation, the way it went, the look on the person who was sitting in front of me, and the helplessness that I had at that point of time to let the emotions roll. So it's not easy. It's I think today it happens through emails, and people just talk about it on Zoom chats, but it is taking the human out, totally out of the emotions that you deal with. So I don't really relate to that, but I think the this was definitely a phase which was one of the most difficult of my whole career, I would say.
As a VC, the way I see it is that every failure has more learnings than successes.
No, I agree. I think I think it was a difficult phase, and it went through. I mean, we decided that we were kind of breaking even at some point of time with all the scale downs and everything. I mean, if we wanted to sustain, we could have sustained at a single shop for much longer. But that was not the vision with which we started this venture, right? It was always to grow and grow exponentially, if not now, maybe in a few years. But we didn't really see that how we would grow in the next few months or few years. So that's when we decided. I mean, it was not that all the money dried up. We were generating cash flow, which was helping run our business like any shopkeeper would do. But that was not the vision with which we started it, and we couldn't see the where what next. That was the question that we asked before pulling the plug
So,
down.
how
What
many years did you run this healthcare company?
about 2 years?
2 years.